Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Crystal and this is my social thread. So today is my hashtag SoFrugal23 inspiration vlog, where I will be going through some ideas for free patterns that you can use for this challenge and also talking about the challenge itself. So hashtag SoFrugal23 is hosted by Ruwan of the Yorkshire Sew Girl and Sam of Frugalissima. I think this is their third year now doing this challenge, and basically the premise is you need to choose a free pattern, which is a PDF or sort of instructions that are available online to everybody across the world. Also, you need to choose fabric from your stash, and you need to post your finished garment or garments on the 31st of March this year with the hashtag SoFrugal23 and tag the Yorkshire Sew Girl and Frugalissima. And for my inspiration vlog, I decided to go for children's wear, only because, well, two reasons. One, because I'm expecting a baby and I have kind of been looking at sort of, you know, lots of children's patterns and things, but also I think most of the vloggers have been doing adult wear, sort of women's wear and men's wear, and so I thought something a bit different would be children's wear. There are daily vloggers from the sewing community doing inspiration vlogs. So the lovely lady before me was, what's her name, Deb's Made This. I will link her details below so you can see her video that was posted yesterday. And then tomorrow, the lady that's following me is My Superpower, and super is spelt with a so, S-E-W-P-E-R. So is it My Superpower? I'm not quite sure, but they are the two vloggers that are before and after me. So please do try and check them out as well. And let's begin. So children's patterns. Children's patterns I like. I don't really buy or use free patterns because I think the main reason people don't do so is because as the patterns are free, perhaps the pattern pieces aren't drafted as well, or the instructions aren't drafted as well. And the worst thing you can do is obviously spend some time and money and effort into creating something and it not fits right or it not come together properly. And so when I choose free patterns, I normally tend to choose free patterns from companies that also sell patterns and patterns that I've used before. So I know what their instructions are like, I know what their drafting is like, and so I have some sort of idea that the free pattern will be of a good quality and of a good standard. So the first company I'm going to talk about is Waves and Wild, and this used to be called Made by Jack's Mum, but I think she changed her name I think a couple of years ago now, because she's not only Jack's mum, she has other children as well, so she thought let's change the name of the company. So a couple of items from Waves and Wild. All you have to do is when you go into their website, and I think for every website actually that you use, if you just on the search icon, if you click in free patterns, there's quite a few companies actually that sell patterns, and they also provide free patterns, which is quite nice. So in Waves and Wild, I've come across just two sort of, I suppose, accessory patterns that you could use for your child, especially with summer coming up. So the first one is a sandcastle bucket hat, which is free, and it's this one here. So you know them, you know, I normally get these for my boys from Next, and I think two of them are about £8 to £10. So but the nice thing about this is that it comes from newborn all the way to extra L adult. So your whole family can be catered for this, with this pattern. And as you can see, it's very simple. It literally is three pieces. You've got the rim, sort of that rim bit, then you've got the headpiece there, and then you've got the circle at the top. And there, so that's three pieces, but then you double it because it's lined. And then you've got some lovely top stitching all the way around here. I think that's really great, especially with summer coming up. It's always good to be safe in the sun, and just for, you know, general sun purposes. But also I think it's a great way to use up scrap fabrics, especially what are they called, fat quarters. So I used to subscribe to quite a few subscription boxes actually, which I have now stopped because I have tended not to use the fabric. And I thought that, I mean, it was lovely receiving these subscription boxes, but I just thought the money that I'd spent in the boxes, I could have bought fabric that I actually like myself and would use straight away. That's not to say that the fabric that was in them I didn't like. It's just that I just wasn't using it, and so I stopped the subscription. So one of them was the So Hailey Jane subscription box, the Stitch and Ink subscription box, and I think the Beyond the Pink Door. So I've subscribed to all of those in the past, and you basically get fat quarters. Actually, Beyond the Pink Door you don't get fat quarters, but the other two you get fat quarters. And I guess quilters use fat quarters quite a lot. So if you're a quilter, that's great. I don't really use fat quarters at all. My daughter Sienna does do quilting, but she has a separate subscription box for her quilting. And then I suppose the fat quarters have been kind of used just for the children to just kind of make little tote bags or little clothes for their dollies, that kind of thing. So we're actually almost kind of forcing ourselves to use them because I don't really have a use for them. But for this hat, it's perfect. You can use your fat quarters. So I've got a couple of fat quarters here. Some of them have been used. So this is from, actually, it's all, I don't know, it's all from different places. So when I talk about fat quarters, it's sort of the 100% quilting cottons. I've got loads of different shades. This one here. And you can coordinate them. Obviously, the hat is unisex, so girls and boys. I mean, you could do one with the lighter colour on the inside, one with the darker colour, you know, and it's a great way to use up scrap fabric. And it's also quite an easy project for a beginner. Lovely for gifts as well, that sort of thing. And the fact that it goes up to an adult is really, really great. So I really like that one. So that's that one there. Similarly, Waves and Wild, they also do a Crowning Glory. And it's, well, it's a crown. It's a fabric crown. Which I think is really lovely. Again, you can use your fat quarters up. You can do different outer and different inner, and they're reversible basically. And I think these are great for, well, Christmas party hats. Instead of the paper hats that you get, you could buy Christmas. You can make Christmas party hats that they can bring out every year. You could embroider them. You could add all sorts of embellishments, but also for like parties, like birthday parties basically. Instead of, you know, buying a hat for the children or buying a hat for the birthday child, making one is quite lovely. Or just for dress up, you know, pirates or kings and queens and princesses. I think it's a lovely idea. Again, beginners, children, great way for them to get into sewing and to use up your fabric scraps. Again, this goes from baby to a large adult, which is amazing. So there you go. What's the next one? And then the next one from Waves and Wild is actually a pattern. It's called the Lunar t-shirt. And it's basically an envelope shoulder, and then you can have short sleeves, long sleeves, 3/4 length sleeves, and then the bodice you can adjust as well to make it tunic length, blah blah blah. Again, you can also add, for girls, you can add a tiered skirt or a gathered skirt as you please. So it's a really, really versatile sort of top pattern. Again, this is free. It comes from a preemie small newborn to an age 4, and I'll just show you the variations that you can do with them. So as I say, you've got all the different sleeve lengths there. Long sleeve, short sleeves. You can add gathered skirts. You can add, what is this, semi, maybe like a 3/4 skirt. All sorts of things. So that's really, really great pattern to have. It's great to have in your pattern arsenal, sort of basics that you can hack and you can add things to. So I think that's a really great one to do. And also with the envelope neckline, you don't have to worry about. So I found in some patterns, what pattern company is it? Brindle and Twig, for example. I found that their pattern sizing is quite generous overall, except for the neck. I don't know if my children have big heads, but it's kind of like a struggle to get it over their heads. So with the envelope openings, you won't have that problem. Just thought I'd let you know about that. So sorry for that Lunar t-shirt. It would be jersey, obviously, jersey or French terry, that sort of thing. Again, great for scraps. The next company I wanted to talk about was Brindle and Twig. I have bought a lot of Brindle and Twig patterns in the past. They're really, really great for children's patterns. And as I say, I think overall their sizing is a bit bigger, but just to make sure that the neck, if you're doing like a crew sweatshirt or something, to make sure that you size up for if your child has a particularly big head, which mine obviously do. So the first pattern I wanted to go through was their excuse me, hooded raglan sweatshirt. And they number their patterns. This one's called 67. So this goes up from a 0 to 3 up to a toddler 6. And it's actually a very, very good pattern. I can show you there. So it's basically, so and also it goes, so it's got this one. This is a free pattern. So 0 to 6 years old. And then you have, oh, I think it is 0 to 6 years old, 67. I printed that one off twice. You also have exactly the same pattern, which I didn't print out, unfortunately, but exactly the same pattern for 6 years old plus. So up to, I think it's about 12 years old, which is really, really great. And hooded, it's a hoodie, and it's got raglan sleeves, as you can see here, and you can add piping there if you want. It's got cuffs at the wrists and the waistband, and it's got a pocket. And I have made some Brindle and Twig hoodies before, so they're really, really lovely. Again, because of the I mean, you could color block this easily. Arms a different color, the inner fabric a different color, mix and match. So again, a great use for scraps, sweatshirting, French terry, that sort of thing. And I think that's really, really great. So so that's that one. Again, that goes up in it's in 2 different sizes, sort of smaller children's size and a bigger child size. So that's great. The next one, the next couple of items, again from Brindle and Twig. You've got the ringer tee, which is number 99, and the Bummies, which is 119. And I think they go together quite nicely. It's basically a simple crew t-shirt, and that goes from 0 to 3 up to 6 years old. And it's your lovely crew neck top, cuffing at the bottom, the neck, and the cuffs. Again, you can change the length of the bodice, you can change the length of the sleeves, and that goes really nicely together with the Bummies, which again, the Bummies unfortunately only go up to 3 years old, which is a shame because the t-shirt goes up to 6 years old. But a pair of lovely little jersey shorts there, which I think is really, really cute. Again, great for scrap busting, color blocking, that sort of thing. And I thought together they would make like a really cute sort of summer set, which I think is really, really nice. I was planning to make some of these for baby that's coming soon. So baby is due end of April, beginning of May. But then I find with sort of newborn, for me, sort of 0 to 3. And I don't normally put sort of summer clothes on a 0 to 3 year old because first of all, the legs are all skinny. But also they're not able to control the temperature as yet. And so I normally still kind of, I don't wrap them up warm, but they're normally sort of in kind of trousers and things, but not shorts and t-shirts. And then I was thinking I could make it for when he's older, so next year, so next summer he will be 9 to 12, 12 to 18. But then my only worry is because it's a whole year later, I will have forgotten about it, and then they'll just go to waste. But anyway, I think that's a lovely cute little set there. Jersey, French terry, great for using scraps. Again, scrap ribbing, or you can use jersey as well to match the you know, the waist ties and the cuffs. So that's another couple of patterns there from Brindle and Twig. And then the next one, the next company I wanted to talk about was Ellie and Mac. Ellie and Mac, I have used their patterns before. They've got so many patterns on them, but they do have quite a few. Actually, how many free patterns do they have? Probably about 8 or 10 free patterns. But the one I really like is the Grow With Me Pajamas. And it's this set here, and it's from a 6 months to 14 years old. So lovely pajamas. Obviously we're coming into spring summer now, so I mean you could easily turn these into shorts, you know, short sleeve t-shirt and short sleeve shorts, so sort of like a summer pajama set. But what I was hoping to do was if I sized up and used sort of jogging fabric or sweatshirting fabric, I could make like matching jogging bottoms and sweatshirts for my two boys, Zachary and Xander, because at home that's what they wear at home, sort of jogging bottoms and jumpers, and I thought that would be quite nice. And if I size up, so I'm planning to, so this comes with a what are these called? It's like a yoke part where you can cut it off, and you can, well, it's cut off there, and you can sort of, you know, put contrasting fabric if you want. I plan to just omit the seam allowance between this bodice piece and this top yoke piece and add those pieces together, so it's just as one. So basically it's like a long sleeve t-shirt pattern and sort of joggers pattern, and if I add a ribbing to the bottom of the waist of the top, and then to the waistband of the trousers, it basically to me would look like a lovely sort of sweatshirt and jogging bottom set, which I plan to do for my two boys. As I say, this goes up from 6 to 12 months all the way up to an age 14, which is great. Fabric requirements for the biggest size, almost 2 yards, so that's kind of meters, 1.5 meters to 2 meters for the biggest size, which is great. Again, you can mix and match things, you can use scraps, which is really great. So let me show you the fabric that I have planned for that. So I bought these fabrics from Pound Fabrics a couple of months ago, and it was supposed to be for baby makes, for baby that's due in May, but now that I've managed to, it took me a whole day to go into the loft and retrieve all of the baby clothes. I thought I didn't have very many because I had given away lots of my baby clothes to my sister-in-law and to friends, and I thought I didn't have very much, and so I was making lots of bits and pieces for the new baby. And then now that I've taken everything down, washed them, packed them all away into sort of newborn 0 to 3, 3 to 6, I've realized the baby has got so many clothes, and so these fabrics I will not be using for the baby. I'll be using for my two boys instead, Xander, who is turning 4, and Zachary, who is turning 6. So the first one is a it's like a fleece backed sweatshirting. Is a thin sweatshirting from Pound Fabrics. It's like a royal blue with dinosaurs and these little fire things here. I am going to use a matching ribbing to pick out the orange in that, so I think that will look quite nice for probably Xander. This is probably a bit younger, so probably for Xander. So I plan to make these pajamas, but as I say, make it a size bigger, add ribbing to the bottom of the top and the top of the trousers, and have sort of a lovely matching jogging set for him. And then for Xander, again from Pound Fabrics, this is a lovely it's actually much thicker. It's a fleece backed sweatshirting, I suppose you could call it, and it's got police cars on it. And then I also have, just from my stash, some matching ribbing to go with the police cars. And again, the same thing, making those pajamas into a jogging bottom jogging set for my for what's his name, Zachary. And so that's my plan. So I think that's what I will do for my So Frugal entries. And then the last, oh no, it's just quickly, with Ellie and Mac patterns, as I say, so those are great unisex pajamas all the way up to an age 14. And they also do, and it also has a dress as well. So like a nightie, which you can do, which is great. But they also do a free adult pattern. Again, pajamas or night dress, extra small all the way up to a 6XL, which is really, really great. Likewise, if you wanted to do sort of the top and the trouser set, if you used sweatshirting fabric and made it a size bigger, again, it would be a lovely jogging and sweater set, which I think is great. This goes from extra small, waist of 26 to 28, chest of 32 to 34, all the way up to a 6XL, waist of 61 to 63 inches, bust or chest of 61 to 62 inches. So it's really, really great. And that's free as well, which is great. So that's my plans. And then there's another company I wanted to talk about. It's well, it's actually not a company. It's like I think it's a blog. I've forgotten the name now. Autumn. I've forgotten what it's called. I will link it down below, but it's basically this lady that blogs, and she has free patterns on there that you can print out with instructions. But I also came across a lovely pinafore dress, and I'll pop up a picture of the pinafore dress. My daughter Anya, who's 8, is after a pinafore dress, and she's been asking me to make her one. And so basically this particular pattern here doesn't have any pattern pieces, but if I will link it down below. If you go onto her website, it tells you exactly, in very simple terms, exactly how to measure out the waistband plus the seam allowances, the bib front plus the seam allowances, the straps plus the seam allowances, and the skirt pieces. And the instructions are very easy to follow as well, to make a pinafore dress to basically fit anybody, because you're working on measurements of the person rather than keeping within the constraints of a pattern. So I'm planning to make a pinafore dress for Anya. And the fabric that I have here is again, this is actually from Pound Fabrics again. I probably bought this a year ago now, and it's a lovely needle cord in a leopard print. So I can see, if you can see the needle cord there. And she wanted a pinafore dress in that, and I think that's quite nice for the summer, because you can sort of wear white kind of t-shirts and things underneath, or maybe baby blue, or any colour really, it doesn't really matter. And so that's what I plan to make: the pinafore dress hopefully, and the 2 jogging bottoms and sweatshirts for the boys for my So Frugal entries. And that's it really. I hope I haven't missed anything. So as I say, if you do want to enter, there are so many prizes, you know, vouchers and fabric and PDF patterns. I'll pop up some pictures of some of the sponsors. And that's remember to post it on the 31st of March. So Frugal, hashtag So Frugal 23, and tag Ruan, the Yorkshire Sew Girl, and Sam from Frugalissima. And that's it basically. And just to say as well, myself, Adele, Sofa Serenity, and Claire from Stitch Hem Sew are going to be hosting our own challenge, which we started off last year, so this will be our 2nd year, and that's in April, and that's hashtag Selfless Sew April 23. And the premise of that is basically just making something for somebody else that's not yourself. So a present for your friends or family, you know, charity, makes for your children, for your husband, for your mum, for your dad, that sort of thing. More details will be coming out soon via our YouTube pages, YouTube channels, and via our Instagram, and loads and loads of prizes. We've got, I think, at least 50 individual prizes, vouchers, PDF patterns, that sort of thing, fabric. So I hope to be able to share that with you at some time this month, in readiness for the 1st of April. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I hope that has inspired you somewhat. Yeah, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.